Howdy! What's happening, everybody, on Monday, April 29th, 2025? My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. A massive ICE roundup going on in the state of Florida with 800 illegal immigrants being scooped up over the course of one raid. Shocker. Illegal immigrants in Florida. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that? Also, we're going to look at Trump's 100 days of sealing the border, how that's going, how they were able to do it, what the difference is. Also, we're going to have a good laugh. We're going to have a very good laugh at the expense of the mainstream media because Trump did a thing. The Trump administration did a thing, and now there's basically no way. Now there's basically no way to for the media not to cover it. It's actually quite funny. We're going to show you guys that, and we're going to show you fake news in real time as Chuck Schumer ponders impeachment. And we're going to giggle at CNN. Before we get started, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling. We got a new t-shirt alert, everybody. New t-shirt alert. We got a new classic here that you're going to see an awful lot. We got the Make America Hot Again shirt. We're loving that, ladies. That's just for you. That's just for you, fellas. You don't get one of these yet. So you guys know how we love the ladies' apparel over here. So, guys, pick up your Make America Hot Again shirt over at loudmajorityusa.com, along with all the other good stuff, including your Gulf of America t-shirt. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff coming in hot. Gulf of America hat, your Doge hat, along with all the other phenomenal bits of merchandise we have over here at the Loud Majority. Help fund the movement. This is the best way to do it, by going to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com, and use promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. Also, some housekeeping news for all my local viewers. I'll be at the Lindenhurst Street Fair. Lindenhurst, of course, my hometown. Lindenhurst Street Fair. I will be there on Sunday. Come on down, say hello. We're going to be doing a voter registration drive and all the good stuff, as we always do. It is activism season here in New York. And why do I say it is activism season here in New York? Well, that is because we are beginning to get active polling out of my beloved state of New York. And what is it showing? It is showing Congresswoman Elise Stefanik kicking butt in the state of New York. Here are the GOP polls. If Congresswoman Stefanik steps into the race, it is an absolute blowout. This coming from Interactive Polls done by Gray House, showing her with a 44-point lead over second place Mike Lawler, and Bruce Blakeman down at 5%. I want to be clear. Love Bruce Blakeman. Huge fan of Bruce Blakeman. But as I've said numerous times on this show, Elise Stefanik, she runs, she clears the field. She clears the field, leaving us directly to focus on Governor Hochul. And as we are doing in numerous states all over the country, most particularly in the state of New Jersey, obviously, New Jersey has a governor race in 2021. You guys are going to want to jump on board with that if you live in the local area. As a matter of fact, can I pull it up real quick? I was with the one and only Scott Pressler last weekend in New Jersey. We were registering voters at a gun show, at a gun store, excuse me. Here is Scott. Well, that's a little bit too big. That's a little bit too big, if you'll notice. There's Scott, and there's me sitting in the background. At the moment, I'm not doing anything in the photograph, but we are out in New Jersey. We're going to be doing stuff all throughout the state, all throughout the year, but you guys can do that where you live as well. You guys can do that all across your state, your area, in order to find more voters. That's how we vote more than once. We get people registered, we get them out, we get them active. That's what we got to do. AC Knight says, definitely getting all the ladies in my life the Make America Hot Again shirt. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's make America hot again. I like it. Guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling. Let's get this live chat up onto the screen. Boom. I'm really excited that people are finally starting to poll in New York. AC Knight says, anything going on in Atlantic City? I will let you know for sure. I will let you know for sure once we get all those New Jersey stuff figured out. We're going to be doing something in Teaneck, New Jersey. What day is that? It's on Memorial Day, May 26th, because we never stop, can't stop, won't stop. Let's keep rocking and roll. Was anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat at the Scott Pressler event this weekend in Bergen County? Was it in Bergen County? I'll be honest, I don't know any of the counties in New Jersey. I'm not even sure where the hell I really was. I was in Paramus. That's where I was. I was in Paramus. What's up, everybody? Terry, how are you? Tim Huff, what's happening? ZBM, how are you? Tommy Girl, hello. Mary Carroll, very good stuff. Good to see everybody in the chat. Hello from Rhode Island. We love Rhode Island. A quick stopover before I get to Cape Cod every summer. Oh, yeah. Guys, do me a favor, wherever you're watching, share the video out, repost it, share it, retweet it. Let's get rocking. Let's get rolling. So, there was a major ice raid this weekend in the state of Florida, with over 800 illegal immigrants rounded up in a Florida operation. Now, we're going to talk about Trump polling because he isn't polling very well at the moment. You can choose to believe that, or you can choose not to believe that. That's not really the point. The one place in which he is polling incredibly high is on illegal immigration, and this is the point. This is the area that Trump needs to focus on. This was the mandate. This was the biggest issue he was elected for. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Miami, along with the Florida law enforcement agencies, arrested nearly 800 illegal immigrants in the first 4 days of Operation Tidal Wave. Boy, the Trump administration, they really can name things very, very well. I'll be sniffling this entire show, just a heads up, because it's spring, and I can't breathe. Anybody else out there dying a slow death right now? I know I certainly am. A large-scale multi-agency immigration crackdown. Among those arrested were a convicted Colombian murderer, alleged MS-13 gang members, and a Russian national with an Interpol red notice for manslaughter. Oh, yeah. So it turns out they're from everywhere. Authorities identified Jose Sanchez Reyes, a Colombian national convicted of homicide in his home country. Also included in the arrests were Rafael Juarez Cabrera, a Guatemalan national, an alleged MS-13 gang member who had illegally re-entered the United States 3 times and was convicted of felony re-entry. The operation also resulted in the arrest of, there's not a chance I'm pronouncing this name, Sava Klishchevsky. Man, some of these, I gotta be honest, some of these Russian names, what the hell? Why are there so many vowels? A Russian national wanted in Russia for vehicular manslaughter. Operation Tidal Wave utilizes ICE's 287G authority, which deputizes state and local law enforcement officers to arrest individuals illegally present in the U.S. Quote, I think the main reason why this operation is significant is because it's the first of its kind, said acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, according to ABC News. It's one that not only we've been doing what we have. Yeah, there's a typo there somewhere. But we have surged all of our federal partners together along with Homeland Security and removal operations, which all of the enforcement arms of ICE. But we are also using all of our 287G partners in the state of Florida. We're using state, local, and county law enforcement agencies to assist in the operations. And it's nice to see that some people are actually beginning to get the message that the people of their state do not want illegal immigrants to be flocking to their area. As a matter of fact, as I said before, Donald Trump is, He's facing an uphill battle when it comes to a lot of his policies. People fear inflation. People fear recession. They fear that the market is down. But the one place that Donald Trump is still kicking butt is, of course, the illegal immigrant status, which has him 12 points above water, according to a CBS News YouGov poll. Pretty accurate poll, I got to be honest with you, with a 2.5% margin of error. Look. If you look just strictly at polling right now over the course of the last 100 days, or the first 100 days of the Trump administration, every polling outlet out there has things not looking well. Why? Why is that the case? Well, A, it has to do with media coverage. B, it has to do with poll bias. Many of the Democrats out there who got burned by every single one of these polls in 2024, are now re-looking at the exact same polls again and hoping to get a different result. Why? Because they're insane. Maybe the polling was off in 2024, and it's also off now because they're using the same models. Not really the point. Many people have been polling the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and they're getting the results they want. Why? Because it turns out many of the things Donald Trump and his administration are doing are not things that are going to be fixed in 3.5 months. This sort of, arbitrary time frame, this arbitrary thing that we have been saddled with over the course of the last several administrations, probably about since FDR, has to do with the 100-day mark. Yet, 100 days is arbitrary. For my baseball fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. A pitcher can't throw more than 100 pitches. Why 100? Why not 90? Why not 110? Why is the 100-day mark this sort of line of demarcation? It's completely arbitrary, and it means absolutely nothing. Sure, does it give you some idea of the how would you say, the takeoff, the launch point of an administration? All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that. But why? Why is it that launch point? Many of the tariffs that Donald Trump is putting into place aren't really going to show to be effective until we get the budget bill that's being worked on over the course of the next couple of weeks in the House of Representatives. What do I mean by that? Well, if things cost a little bit more, not good. Not good. But if you're getting no taxes on overtime, which helps the working class, no taxes on Social Security, which helps the senior citizens, no taxes on tips, which helps the young people working in the service industry. If you're not getting taxed on a lot of these entities, that is going to sort of counterbalance whatever the idea of tariffs might be, whatever the uncertainty is in the markets. So measuring the Trump administration on the first 100 days is actually kind of pointless in many of the scenarios. Now, many people will say, Kevin, you're just a Trump sycophant, and you'll go along with whatever crap he throws out there. No, I've been critical of the Trump administration when I think it's time to be critical. The problem is that many of those same people, I got to do an argument with, what the hell's his name? Malcolm Nance last night. He's a former Intel analyst, big guy on Bill Maher's show. He's on Bill Maher all the time. Got to do an argument with him last night, and according to a few people, I did very well, so I'm very happy about that. But I got to do an argument with him last night, and he kept pressing the idea that the end is nigh, that all things are ending. And I tried to strike up a conversation with him that the reason why so many people in America continue to feel like this is like we're in unprecedented territory is because we are. For the first time in American history, the American voter is actually getting what they were promised. They're actually getting what they were promised. We're getting what we want. We want pressure put on outside countries. We want manufacturing to be brought back to America. We want the border to be closed. And we're getting that. And as I said on last week's show, which I know pissed a lot of you off, that this is not going to be fixed in 10 minutes. This is not going to be fixed in 10 weeks, which is basically what 100 days is. What is that? Not 10 weeks. 14 weeks. 3.5 months. It's not going to be fixed in that time frame. Let's make that very clear. Very, very clear. And if you think it is, I'm sorry. That's just not the way that government operates. Many of these policies have long-term plans and long-term successes. And that's what I'm waiting for. Because I promise you, as we see, and we can pull up the Dow Jones right now. Let's go 6 months. Since that dramatic dip where it went down, let's see, boom, 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 where is that? The dramatic dip that everybody lost their minds about. From what is that, 44,000 to where it sits now at just under 40. You watch what happens when the stock market goes, well, you watch what happens when the no tax policies go into play. Why? I'm going to tell you exactly why. Particularly the no tax on overtime. Many people, and I'm sure there are some people in this chat who did this themselves, you had a certain amount of money taken out of your account, a percentage every week of your weekly paycheck. That went into a 401k, went into a Roth IRA, went into some sort of a retirement fund. And some of you may have had a company that matched whatever it is went into it, that 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever it may have been. Well, when you're not getting taxed on that overtime, and you have, let's say, 10, 15, 20% of your paycheck going directly into a retirement plan, directly into a 401k, you are going to see that rise, the final dollar amount rise going back into the market. The buying power will go up. And the minute this budget bill passes, you are going to see a boom in the stock market. A boom like you've never seen before. And I think that will definitely stabilize the markets from where it was when Donald Trump took office. Of course, this is not financial advice. I want to make that very, very clear because I would never give financial advice because that would be illegal. That would be illegal. However, if I were you and you were me and we were each other, I would, definitely sock some of that money away if you are someone who is still working. Sock that money away because the 401ks in the stock market is always your safest and best form of investment long term. Once again, that is not financial advice. Let's make that very clear. Very clear. Not financial advice. What's up, Lenny? How are you? Chris Caulfield, what's happening? Guys, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We're going to keep rolling on with some of the good stuff. Before we do that, guys, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Support the people who are supporting the parallel economy by going to oldglorybank.com. Consider opening up an account with them. I would suggest opening up a CD. If I were a financial strategist, if I were somebody who gave financial advice, which of course I am not for all the lawyers out there, but if I was, that's what I would tell you to do. That is what I would tell you to do. So back to immigration, because we're beginning to see the effects of this immigration taking shape all over the country. As a matter of fact, over the course of the last over the course of the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and I know I sort of just went on a bit of a tirade about how stupid the first 100 days are, so I can understand why people would be confused by this. But let's look at how in the first 100 days Donald Trump has been able to secure the border that Democrats just couldn't figure out how to do. They just couldn't figure out how to do it. The United States endured a never-before-seen surge in illegal immigration under President Joe Biden. This is from the Daily Wire. Watching as hordes of migrants charged the border and towns across America. The issue, perhaps more than any other, propelled President Trump to re-election in 2024 through a combination of policy changes, arrests, deportations, sanctions, and coordination with foreign governments. The Trump administration is saying that they have facilitated a 99.98% drop in border encounters. 99.98%. That is incredible. Customs and Border Protection data recorded over 11 million illegal immigrant encounters nationwide under the Biden administration, roughly 9 million of which took place at the southern border. By May of Biden's last year in office, federal data showed that 1.7 million illegal alien gotaways entered the country. Now, these are just the ones we know about. These are just the ones we know about. The 11 million. Illegal immigration was so dramatic under Biden that the foreign-born population surged to a new high of 53 million people in America who weren't born here. No country, I don't care what religion, culture, century you're living in, can support that sort of influx. I don't really care what it is. 2/3 of the growth of the foreign-born population during the Biden presidency is estimated to be due to illegal immigration. And there are approximately 18.6 illegal aliens currently present in the United States, according to the Federation for American Immigration Reform. I mean, I'm not sure how an organization could keep track of a number they're not sure of. Like, that means that what that number is. Where was it? 18.6 million. That's the low ball. That's not the high end. It can't be. I remember back in the 2000s, there were, quote, 11 million illegals in America. Joe Biden just let in, what is that? According to the Federation for American Immigration Reform, they let 13 million in. So at the very least, that number is gotta be somewhere in the 20s at the minimum. Low 20 million at the minimum. Could it be 25? Do I hear 30? Anybody got 35, 40, 45, 50? Who the hell knows? I feel like I'm watching Storage Wars right now. How high are we going to go? Through January 21st through January 31st, the number of U.S. border apprehensions along the southwest border dropped 85% from the same period just a year before. The White House pointed out in a press release citing ABC News, of all people. The Trump administration recorded a 93% drop in illegal border crossers in the 11 days after the Trump administration. The decline proved to be even more precipitous by March, when J.D. Vance visited the southern border and boasted a 98% reduction at the time of him getting there. The rapid drop in border crossings came as Trump announced and implemented sweeping changes to the immigration policy. Now, what you're going to hear from Democrats. What you're going to hear from Democrats is, Kevin, did you know? Did you know that in the first 100 days of the Biden administration that they actually deported more people than the Trump administration? And you would go, wow, that's an interesting number. Let me look that up. And when you look it up, you will find it is true. They did deport more people. The problem is they didn't turn off the tap. If you're moving 10 people out one door and letting 40 people come in the other door, that doesn't really make a difference. See, the only thing that is more important than the scale of the deportations is the stopping of the flood in the first place. Because if your boat has a hole in it and you're taking buckets of water out of it, you're not going to get anywhere unless you stop the hole in the first place. And that is what the Trump administration has done. It has let people who are not yet here know that it is time to not come, because you will not be let in. Now that ICE and Border Patrol are not processing thousands of people a day, they can, patrol the border and stop them from coming in the first place. Now, the reason why Border Patrol, why is it important for Border Patrol to be patrolling the border is because that's kind of their job. Their job is not to be a secretary and just process illegals going through to the point where we have no idea who they are, no idea where they're coming from. We get people like Kilmar Abuego Garcia, the gang member who human trafficked, who beat up his wife, the Democrats seem to love. You don't get to come in anymore. As some might say, adios, muchacho. You've got to go. And even CNN is beginning to admit this.
Jessica, it all started with an anonymous tip back in January that undocumented migrants were living on a judge's property in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and in possession of firearms. That home belongs to the former judge Jose Luis Cano and his wife, Nancy Cano. Homeland Security investigators allege in court documents that one of the people living on this property was Christian Ortega Lopez.
I'm sorry, this is the clip about the judge and his wife who were harboring illegal immigrants in their home. Now, whatever their reasoning is behind that, and that's another talking point you're going to hear from Democrats over the next couple of weeks. They're arresting judges. We've never seen anything like this before. First off, we have seen numerous times where judges have been arrested in America, most notably in the Pennsylvania Cash for Kids scheme, where two judges were sending 12, 13, and 14-year-olds to prison for minor teenage violations like truancy, and then accepting cash bribes from the prison. And then, wait, how does that story end? That's right. That's right. They both got pardons by Joe Biden. It's unprecedented. Donald Trump pardoned the J6ers. Sure, let's ignore all the people Joe Biden pardoned on the way out the door. Let's ignore the fact that people like Andrew Cuomo pardoned a domestic terrorist who knocked over a Brinks truck so that they could find the money to bust Assata Shakur out of jail. You know, the Assata Shakur that killed 2 New Jersey state troopers, busted her out of jail, and then fled down to Cuba, where she's still living, by the way. Assata Shakur, some of you may remember her, the godmother or aunt, one of the two, of Tupac Shakur. Just saying, not a big deal. It turns out, and I want to be clear, the power of the pardon, I really don't know why we even have it. I think it's kind of dumb, if I'm being totally honest with you. It comes from, like, old English parliamentary stuff. But we have it, and it turns out every governor, every president pardons people that the other side thinks they shouldn't. Spoiler alert, it's going to happen next time, too. Happens every time. The only difference is that when Donald Trump did it, he actually did it with an intention, where Joe Biden just sort of, I don't know, waved his little auto pen and let 2 people who sold children to for-profit prisons for cash, let them go. I don't know. Nothing to see here. But even CNN is now admitting that this judge and his wife committed felonies by harboring dangerous gang members.
Jessica, it all started with an anonymous tip back in January that undocumented migrants were living on a judge's property in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and in possession of firearms. That home belongs to the former judge Jose Luis Cano and his wife, Nancy Cano. Homeland Security investigators allege in court documents that one of the people living on this property was Christian Ortega Lopez. They say evidence suggests he's linked to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. In the complaint are multiple photos and videos of Ortega Lopez holding a handgun, an assault-style rifle, and ammunition. Investigators say it was through these photos and videos that they identified tattoos, clothing, and hand gestures commonly associated with the Tren de Aragua, saying they provided strong evidence of his potential connection to the gang. Homeland Security investigators also claim that after Ortega Lopez's arrests, the former judge admitted to smashing a cell phone with a hammer weeks earlier because he thought it could have had photos or video that would reflect negatively on Ortega Lopez, and that his wife consulted with Ortega Lopez over how to delete Facebook posts. Court records show also former Judge Cano is now federally charged with tampering with evidence, while his wife is charged with conspiracy to tamper with evidence. We've reached out to their attorney for comment. Jose Cano denied ever knowing the alleged gang affiliation of Ortega Lopez, writing in a letter to the New Mexico Supreme Court obtained by CNN affiliate station KOAT, quote, "Let me be crystal clear as possible. The very first time I ever heard that the men could possibly have any association with Tren de Aragua was when I was informed of that by the agents on the day of the raid." We should note.
Yeah, that's really not how law works, bro. If I come to your house and I hand you a bag of money and you keep the bag of money and you go, "Well, I didn't know it came from a bank robbery." That's really not how any of that works. Ignorance, stupidity is not an excuse for breaking the law. Sorry, bro. I don't know what to tell you. And then you have other instances, like this judge in Milwaukee who actually hid an illegal immigrant and shuffled him out the back door as ICE agents were getting ready to deport him. Yeah, I don't have any real I don't know. I don't know. I don't really feel bad about it. One thing that I really don't feel bad for is the mainstream media. And we're going to talk about them in just a second. Before we do, guys, it's Jeremy Harrell.
Oh, hey, folks. How you doing? Jeremy Harrell here, LFA TV. I was just reading up here on Fatty 15. Sounds kind of funny, right? It's not, though. Fatty 15 is a new supplement that we are taking here at LFA TV that I'm personally taking myself that has a nutrient in it called C15. And what is C15? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can thank our aquatic friends, the dolphins, for science figuring this out. The first breakthrough in 90 years about what the proper amount of C15 in your body can do. Every one of us wants peace. Every one of us wants to experience joy and a long life with our kids and our grandkids sitting in a setting like you see behind me. Well, there's one way that you can do that outside of eating right, having a good diet, exercising, saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, but also taking supplements that our bodies just don't produce anymore because we're all breaking down, especially as we get older. Fatty 15 has a nutrient called C15. And what this does is it, first of all, repairs your old damaged cells and then kind of slows down the aging process of your cells, giving you longevity of life. And 72% of people taking Fatty 15 see massive benefits within 16 weeks. Some earlier, some later. But those benefits are absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Most people said their liver and heart health feels much better. A lot of people said that their skin is changing. They feel like they're healthier. Their metabolic system changes. And ladies and gentlemen, it's also vegan friendly. Now, Fatty 15 has 3 times the cellular benefits as any omega-3 or fish oil. Omega-3 and fish oil also can go bad after a while. By replenishing our cells with this C15 nutrient that I'm talking about in here, Fatty 15 effectively repairs cells and restores our long-term health. Now, I can get you a 15% off a 90-day subscription right now by going to fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. That's fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. And ladies and gentlemen, despite the name, it's not going to make you a fatty. It's actually going to give you something that you've been wanting for a long time, to feel younger again. Who doesn't want that? Fatty15.com/LFA, code LFA. Check it out now. Thank you guys so very much. Have a wonderful day.
Guys, check that out today. So let's talk about the mainstream media, because things are not going very well for them. Things are not going very well for them, particularly over at CNN. And why would they be going well? They've lied to us for decades. They've lied to us every day, over and over and over and over again. So much so that over at CNN, CNN's ratings are absolutely abysmal. They are absolutely plummeting. They are dropping like a rock. And why wouldn't they be? CNN's primetime ratings on Wednesday dipped under 500,000 viewers, with less than 100,000 viewers in the key demo. Now, for those of you who aren't in television and don't understand what that means, the overall viewers don't really matter. They don't really matter to advertisers. What matters is the key demographic between 25 and 54. Why? Because those are the people with the most buying power. Those are who advertisers consider to be working age. You know, when you're young, you're really not buying products, and when you're old, you're on a fixed income. So that key demographic is the one that matters. CNN's ratings dipped below 500,000 at the 9 p.m. hour on Caitlin Collins. According to Adweek, Collins had 446,000 total viewers. Abby Phillip had slightly less than that at 459,000. And Laura Coates had 269,000 viewers. Are you kidding me? All of the primetime networks failed to break 100,000 viewers in the key demo, with Anderson Cooper getting 93,000, Phillip getting 90,000, Collins getting 76,000, and Laura Coates getting 46,000 viewers. That's a real number, okay? That means that if Laura Coates had went outside of the CNN offices in New York City and just yelled her show on the street, more people would have heard it than if she had broadcast it on a global channel. That is horrific. CNN's full-scale collapse continues rapidly. It reached a remarkable new low by Caitlin Collins and Abby Phillip, according to independent journalist Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald, who has been in the industry for quite some time. The best hour on CNN was still behind MSNBC's worst hour and far below Fox News. The 11th hour with Stephanie Ruhle brought in 800,000 viewers and 99,000 in the demo, which is still awful. Fox News at Night with Trace Gallagher brought in 1.5 million viewers, with 194,000 being in the key demo. Now, why do I bring this up about the failing press? Because they do things like this. I'm going to show you guys fake news in real time, okay? Fake news in real time. So today, the Trump administration did something that is objectively hilarious. They did something that is objectively hilarious. What did they do, you may say? Well, the White House decided that it was going to put up pictures of illegal immigrants who have been deported from this country. They put up their photographs and underneath listed their crimes. But not only did they do that outside of the White House, but they did it in a very special place.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. But I promised you I would show you fake news in real time. Now, that is what aired on MSNBC Live. If you were watching MSNBC clips on TikTok, you saw something very different. Let's see if you can spot the difference.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location...
Notice anything different there? Did you notice anything different about those two shots? That's right. If you go on MSNBC's TikTok, they blurred out the photos and the crimes of the illegal immigrants. Now, on TV, they didn't have time to do that in real time, but when they went back on their social media, they blurred out the faces of the illegal immigrants. If that is not the most accurate depiction of fake news I've ever seen, I don't really know what is. I don't really know what is. Now, speaking of fake news, there was an event that took place over the weekend. It's called the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The White House Correspondents' Dinner, hosted by the White House Correspondents Association, the sorts of people who wouldn't allow friends of mine like Monica Page and Daniel Baldwin and Cara Castronova and Brian Glenn into places like the White House press briefing room that Carolyn Levitt has now opened up to the world. They had their annual dinner, which cost like $5,000 a plate, where they give out awards and they how would you say this? Self-gratify themselves in public. Well, they gave an award to someone named Alex Thompson. Now, why did they give Alex Thompson an award at this gratifying dinner? Well, they did it for his, are you ready for this? His amazing reporting on Joe Biden's mental decline. What? Kristen Welker?
Impartiality, integrity, and a deep knowledge of the presidency. The award also includes a prize of $2,500. This year's award goes to Alex Thompson of Axios. The judges said Thompson's aggressive reporting on President Biden, especially leading up to and after the Trump-Biden debate, revealed the president's cognitive decline was impacting his ability to do his job, information the White House tried to conceal. Ladies and gentlemen, the White House Correspondents Association is pleased to give the Aldo Beckman Award to Alex Thompson.
So let me get this straight. You gave an award to a guy who wrote a story 3 years after we all knew it. And Alex Thompson, to his credit, well, slight credit, minor credit, as little credit as I can possibly give any human being on planet Earth, actually went out there and kind of tried to do his little mea culpa. Like, yeah, guys, maybe we screwed this up. Maybe we didn't do our due diligence on this one. I mean, you know what? I'll show it to you and then we'll discuss.
One serious note. To my bones, I believe that reporting and the White House Correspondents Association is as necessary as ever. President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception. But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story, and some people trust us less because of it. We bear some responsibility for faith in the media being at such lows. I say this because acknowledging errors builds trust, and being defensive about them further erodes it. We should have done better. I believe our mission is vital in a world where people are struggling to figure out what's true, and people with power are not telling the truth. I also believe that this association has been, is, and will continue to be critical to that mission. Thank you to the association's leadership for your...
Look, bro. Here's my problem with this, okay? It's not the cover-up. It's not the cover-up. They're Democrats. We know what they're going to do. My problem is how you spoke down to people who very obviously had eyeballs and could see the old man had lost a step. And now none of the esteemed Sunday morning show hosts had the balls to look at somebody like Ron Klain or he's sharper than he's ever been. He can't tie his shoes. Now, the question is, now that it is okay for the media to come out and say what we all knew on election night in 2020, now that it's okay, who will be the member of the media to ask the follow-up question? Now that we're all able to admit that Joe Biden was basically dead his entire presidency, who exactly was running the country? Was it Ron Klain? Was it Anthony Blinken? Was it Dr. Jill? For God's sakes, I hope it was not Hunter Biden. Who was running it? Because somebody was. Was it a committee? Was it the Joint Chiefs? Were they all getting together? Was it the cabinet? All 17 picks? Were they getting in a room and they took a vote where you raised your hand? Somebody was making decisions. And the follow-up to the holy crap, no bleep, Joe Biden is dead. The follow-up to that, well, if he wasn't running it, then who was? Because if some low-level intern who goes to Georgetown was making national security decisions on my behalf, I think that would be something that would be in the interest of the public. I think that would be something maybe, just maybe, kind of, sort of, we should know about. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a peasant. I don't live in the Beltway, okay? I'm not one of the important people. I'm not one of the people who got exempt from Obamacare, like members of Congress. I'm not one of the people who gets to, I don't know, insider trade or take 3.5 weeks off work in the middle of a budget crisis. I'm not one of those people. Because if I was one of those people, maybe I might have some explaining to do. Was it Nancy? Was it Chucky? Was it Akeem Jeffries? Please, I hope it wasn't Cory Booker. Who was running this country? Because with the cognitive decline of the president and him not knowing where he was, we basically lived through a 4-year coup d'etat in this nation. And nobody seemed interested in who was running it. Who? Anybody. Instead, the White House Correspondents Association gets together and oh, AC Knight, please tell me it wasn't. Guys, what do you know what? I'm going to ask the chat. I'm going to ask the chat, about 2,500 people watching live. Who do you think was running the country? While I get a sip. Who was running America? As we keep rocking, as we keep rolling, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Also, guys, do me a favor. Head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFATV related. Check out the LFATV store. And while you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at lfatv.us. Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Obama. Was President Obama running things behind the scene? Did he get that elusive third term he was looking for? Because I know somebody else who could use a third term in office. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second. Before we do that, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to mypillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's mypillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's mypillow.com, promo code LOUD. So we are rocking, we are rolling here. We are having a damn good time. I want to show you guys something. We got like 5 minutes left in the Actually, I'll wait a minute on that, because there is something I want to show you guys. Something awesome about a sport that nobody cares about. I'm going to show you guys that in a second. But for all my sports fans out there, some of you may have paid attention to the what just broke.
Attorney General Pam, one of them is innocent.
What is this? Hold on. Carolyn Levitt just made an announcement real quick. Let me see if can I pull that up real quick. Oh, yes. Hold on. I'll do that in a sec. So, we'll skip the sports thing for now. I'll show you guys that tomorrow. Adam Schiff, old Shifty Schiff, was on Bill Maher last weekend, and I got to be honest, he said something. He said something honest, and it is always fun to me. It is always humorous to me when Democrats own a little bit of self-reflection, just a little. Look, not a lot. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of old Shifty Schiff. I'm not expecting a lot out of old Shifty Schiff, but every once in a while he pulls one out. And here, Adam Schiff admits that Democrats might just be assholes.
So we're going to have to change how we do business in California. We're going to have to address people's legitimate concerns about crime. I was in South San Francisco 2 years ago after I had an experience in the city that all too many people had. When my luggage was stolen out of my car, they tell you don't ever leave your luggage in the car. I never do until the one time I did. And of course, it got stolen. And what was most memorable about the experience for me is I went to this Target in South San Francisco, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm getting the toiletries I'm going to need for my next 2 days in the city. I get to the cashier.
You went there by yourself, not an assistant.
I think I went there. Well, yes, I had somebody drop me off at the store, and so
I don't mean to make that an issue. See, I waited somewhere I should not have waited into it.
Okay. First of all, I had to get the clerk, which is hard to find, to unlock the shampoo or the whatever. So that's one thing. And then I get to the cashier. The cashier asked me if I want one of those Target bags with a little bullseye on it. And I said, yes, that Target bag is going to be my luggage for the next 2 days. And she asked me what happened, and I told her. And she basically said, in not so many words, yeah, Democrats are assholes. And I thought, you know, if the cashier in South San Francisco at 10 o'clock at night believes that Democrats are assholes because the shampoo is locked up and my stuff got stolen out of the trunk, we've got a major problem that we have to address. And I think
that's an awesome story.
You are, Adam Schiff. The reason why the clerk at this Target thinks you're all a-holes is because you are. Because you don't care about that woman. Because you are somehow still confused as to why. Why would the shampoo be locked up at a Target? Well, maybe it's because people like you have decided to let criminals out onto the street for the last, 15 years? 20 years? Because apparently stealing shampoo is equity? I have no idea. But I'm happy that somebody told Adam Schiff exactly what he needed to hear. I've never been jealous of somebody that works at Target, but I am quite jealous of this person. Guys, it's 2 o'clock. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Keep it locked in here all day, rumble.com/LFATV for all the good stuff. Guys, Will Johnson coming up next right here on this network for all my local viewers. Once again, guys, this Sunday we will be doing voter registration at the Lindenhurst Street Fair, my hometown. Come on down, do a little activism, get out, giddy up, let's go. Guys, I'll catch you back live tomorrow. Until then, everybody, stay loud.